what I'd recommend doing there is just gently pulling this out. Oh dear. What's up guys, welcome back to another video. It's the day of an auxiliary cable installation on this old 54 plate BMW. Really simple mod to do, minus the coding, but follow my guide here and you'll be fine. I'll put as many links down below as I can in regards to this, and yeah, just, you know, follow me, ask me any questions, and get it done. In many ways this is actually better than on my old CI, for instance. You can put the aux cable where you want it, and the bass and sound is actually better, I think, in my personal opinion. There is a DIY, I've done it already, in regards to taking the resistors off the aux board, but yeah, I don't know why. It just sounds better because you can use a third-party aux cable. Once it's done, then you know, you can get your music back, just like I suppose like a more modern car. So let's crack on, let's get this done, and I'll catch you back in a bit. Right guys, so firstly what I'm going to do is open input up. I've plugged the cable into the laptop, checked I've got enough battery power, and now you can see here that the battery's on, ignition's on, so we need to do that first before we carry on with the coding. We'll quit out of that, that's fine, and then what we need to do now is go into NCS Expert, and then we need to load a profile. So I'm just going to use the default profile. Right, so what we're going to do is we're going to add the auxiliary option to the vehicle order. So what we're going to do first is click on VIN F1 down here, and then we're going to click on F3, which is ZCS, and then we're going to choose chassis E60, press OK, and then we're going to choose CAS. Right, you can see here it's now loaded up our VIN number and chassis number. Sorry, it's now loaded up our chassis VIN number and also our model code, which is E61. Then we're going to click on Enter FA, which is F2, and then we're going to select E60 again and press OK. And next what we're going to do is press OK on the VIN here, and then what we're going to do is actually going to add essentially the option for auxiliary into the VO. So what we're going to do is I will show you what code needs to go in now. So what we're going to need first is a plus sign, and then we're going to add, after the plus, we're going to put capital NAUX, and then we're going to press add, and what that's going to do is add it to the VO, and we'll just check it in there now, and it's just down here, plus NAUX. So press OK there, and then you're going to click on back, which is F6. And then what you're going to do next is go to process ECU, which is down here, and then we're going to choose CAS and then press OK, and then we're going to go down to here to change job, and then we're going to find down here FA_right, and then press OK, and then we're going to press execute job, which is just down here. So what we're going to do now is that job has now ended and has now added the it's written in the plus NAUX into the actual CAS module. So what we'll do now is we'll actually go back to main, and what we're going to do is actually exit out of NCS Expert, and then we're going to reload it. Right, so what we're going to do now is we're just going to load the profile again. We're going to use NCS Dummy to do this, because it allows you to read the ECU. What we're going to do is click on this VIN ZCS-FA down here, and then we're going to click on ZCS-FA.FECU, change it to E60, press OK. We're going to do the CAS, so we're going to read that out. It's going to do the same as before, chassis number and model number, obviously E61. Then what we're going to do now is go to back. So now what we'll do is we'll go to a process ECU, which is just down here, F4. And then we're going to go to, in my case, mask. If you have navigation on your CCC, you'll have ZAPPL. So just look out for that in that list. So we're going to go to mask down here and then press OK. Right, so then what we're going to do now is go change job, and then we're going to go to Dayton Leeson, which is just here, _Leeson. Click OK, and then we're going to read ECU. It's going to give us our trace file, and then we'll use that to alter for the aux. So let's do that now. Next, what we're going to do, we're going to go to your work folder. In my computer, it's in C drive. So what we'll do is I'll open that up. We'll go down to, I'm using a Mac, so it's boot camp. Then we're going to find NCS Expert, which is there, and then the work folder. Right, so what we're going to do first is this trace file here. What we're going to do is we're going to copy and we're going to paste it on the desktop, just so if anything goes wrong you've got a backup. So I'm going to do that now, like so. So we're going to now load our trace file up. I hope you guys can see this. We're going to use Notepad. So if you right click on it, open with, it's not the easiest thing to film in the car, Notepad, press OK, and then here is where we're going to find the auxiliary, and we're going to obviously change that in the trace file. Right, so what we're going to do is go to edit, and then what we're going to do is go find, and then we're going to put AUX in, and you'll see it just down here. Just lost it again, apologies. Let's try and find it again, sorry. It's quite hard trying to film this. Right, so I found aux, and as you can see it says niche active, so essentially not active. So what we're going to do is change that now. Right, so some videos show not mounted, aux config, things like this, but on this all you would need to do is go from niche active to active, like so. Right, so now what we're going to do is going to save this as a new file. We're going to go save as, and then what we're going to do is go to all files, and then we're going to change this to .man. Right, so because I've done it on a vehicle before, I've already got a file that says that. So what I'll do is I'll save over, which is save, and then it goes, would you like to replace? Yes, I would. Then I can exit back out of that. Right, so we're going to go back into NCS Expert again. We're going to go to change job, and then what we're going to do is going to select SG-Coderin, which is just here, and press OK. And then what we'll do is we'll press execute job. And what happened is there, guys, is when I was just coding, I've got the car on for battery purposes to keep the battery level up. That actually did restart, so don't panic if that happens. And then you can see here it does say coding ended. Right, so what we can do now, guys, is we can remove the computer. And then we can check to see if it has coded. Going to entertainment, and you can see here auxiliary, and there you go. So that's all coded and done fine. Now you can simply unplug your computer. What we'll do is we'll just restart the car again, and already you can see auxiliary is coded. So what we'll do now, guys, is we will crack on and get this trim off, climate control out, this CD player out, mask unit, and then pull this forward, and then what we can do is plug in the aux cable and run it down here somewhere. So let's do that now, and I'll show you guys how to do that. Right, so what we need to do is we need to take off this trim, and you can do that by on either end hooking a screwdriver on each end, and this whole thing will come out this way. So what I'll do is I'll grab a plastic prying tool, and what we're trying to do here is just get behind this particular trim. Found it's easier to go in from this side. So there you go, as we've pulled up, we've now released it. So what you do is you pull one along, just use your fingers. So as you pull it, this is what actually slides into the dashboard assembly itself. So this is what holds it in place. They will slide out that way, but they do fall out, so you can just make sure you catch them. And there you go. Eventually the whole thing will just release. Let's get this side as well, and just gently pry it back, and the whole thing will then come out like so. So what we can now do is unplug the two buttons. What I'm going to do is actually pull them through, just makes life so much easier, like so, and then you can unplug. Better turn that off, and then just quickly unplug this, like so. That means this dashboard assembly is now completely detached up here. So now we are left with this. Which gives us access to that screw and that screw. Right, so we're just going to quickly undo these, any two of them. Right, I'm still debating on whether to wire this elsewhere within the cabin, or to pop something like here or in this. It's at the end of the day, it's totally up to you what you'd like to do. But yeah, I'll show you that cable in a second. There is a decent amount on there, but there is something that we do need to address once this is all out. Is normally they come pre-wired wrongly in the plug, so we're going to have to take the plug out and repin. But yeah, anyway, so air conditioning unit, there's just a fascia on this that you just have to unclip. So what I'm going to do first is try and get this bottom panel out. It just comes out with, if you hook your fingers underneath it, and then it releases forward like so. So then what you can now do is, when you pull this whole assembly forward, as you can see, it's all now loose. So what we'll do now is, if I try and pan the camera in the correct position, you'll see just down here there's a little connector that if we just put a finger in there and undo, that then releases. It's a quick lock connector. There you go, there's that one, and then there's one on this side as well. So we'll undo that. So as we pull this away, if you've got parking sensors, things like this, they're all going to be attached on this main panel. So you just got to unplug these like so. That can now be put away somewhere safe. Right, so now we're left with this. Obviously, to have an extra wire if you've got PDC parking sensors. You've got your main air conditioning wires here, your CD player. This is the next thing to come out. And this actually, in fact, this is the only thing that comes out because we need to get to the wires behind this. So, right, so what we need to do here is simply just unscrew this Phillips and this one. So I'll do that now. And then the whole CD player iDrive mask system will come and slide directly out. And there you go. Release that completely. And then what we are going to do is we're going to put the new connector into one of these spare holes. Right, so we're going to install the new cable, which is just down here. So this is the cable. I'll post a link down below. This is what we are going to install into the back of our radio unit. Now this is where it gets a bit confusing, because this just simply slides neatly in, but we're going to have to make some adjustment on the pins. So firstly, what we're going to do is we're going to put the screwdriver in here, and we're going to slide this and release this out. So we've got that. Okay, right, so this, we need this part, so don't lose this. And what we're going to do now is we're going to repin this, because where, I don't know if you can see on camera, but where these are pinned on this block connector, it's actually wrong. What I'll do is I'll post a link up, or a picture. In fact, I'll put it on the screen now, and if you guys want to pause it, that's where the pin should be. And I'll jump back to this once I've repinned it. Right guys, so you join me back again. So what I'll do is I'll quickly show you, if we just unplug everything again. So this is the actual screen connector. Just give me a bit more access. Right, okay, so if I just unplug this, not the easiest things to get hold of. Right, okay, so yeah, so you can see here, if I pull this back out, so there's the actual orientation's changed. So you've got left and right channel, which is the white and red, then the ground, which is on the pin there. I don't even see it, sorry, my aim isn't very good there. So right, so yeah, so you repin that into that position, slide it back into the connector like so, back in, click it into place. Then in the connector itself, slide the flat side on top, so slide it back in. It's a bit tricky sometimes, a bit hard to get to, but it will go in. Just got to find, there you go. So slide it all the way in. You'll see now on the front it's all done. So what you can do now is take your block connector, the main one, and sort of wiggle it into position. There's not much slack on these wires, which does not help in the slightest. Just get it into place if you can. This block connector needs to be, this arm for this connector needs to be arranged like so, and then slide it in, just do that, lock into place. This goes back in like so. Okay, so we've now got the screen back and everything is plugged back in. What we'll do now is we will just quickly pop this into place. Obviously you can now get your new wire, which we're going to route, but what I'm going to do is just slide this back in to get it out of the way. We'll just locate it back where it's meant to go, because we can route the wire elsewhere. Just make sure, like I've just done, make sure it's the right way up. Okay, right, so that's slid back into place. Get it lined up. Right, make sure none of the cables are caught. that's brilliant. So that's all back into place. Right, now guys, so where shall we put this? You can either run it under here, or you can drill a hole in the back of your cubby hole thingy, or you can pull this panel off and you can physically drill a hole into your I suppose your button area. I haven't got anything on this, so mine's nice and easy. I can literally just go anywhere along here. You could literally drill anywhere really on this panel. It's up to you, completely up to you really. What I like doing is doing it into here, just because it's easy access for your phone, etc, etc. So we'll do that. I was considering doing it, running it under here and putting it through to the glove box, sorry, through to the armrest, but now we'll most people like to see it in the front there. So what I'll do is I'll show you guys how to do that. I'm just going to quickly screw this back up, and then we'll get the drill out, and we'll make a nice hole for the cable. Right, so if you want to follow the guide completely, what we'll do then is we will go along and we will undo these tabs. This is going to release this button module. There's little lugs the whole way around, so just gonna have to free them all off. There you go. So there's your panel. Right, what we'll do now is we're gonna have to undo all of these just by getting a little screwdriver under there. Like a lot of things, these are a pain because as soon as you undo one, the other one sort of reclips itself back in. Right, so that's separated. You can leave the board for the moment, just leave it. What I'd recommend doing there is just gently pulling this out. Oh dear. You got to put that aside, nice and safe, along with the back part, and all you're after is essentially the button board front, because what we're going to do is we're going to drill a hole in to one of these little slots here. I'm going to do it driver's side, so I'm going to do it this side just so it's easier to access for me, but it's up to you. So what we're going to do now is find a drill bit that's just big enough to go through that hole there, so the actual cable will fit through, and then we can tighten it up with this little screw, sorry, little nut, and then yeah, and then we'll reassemble. So I'll go and do that now, and I'll come back when I've made a hole for you guys. Right, so you can see there I've drilled the hole. What we're going to do now is just get our wire, and we're just going to test it. What we're trying to do is make it so the hole is just about big enough to get our wire through. Right, so once your hole is big enough like that, just a bit of fettling, well, as you can see, and now I can get this straight through, and then we'll use the little captive nut there to screw onto the end, and what that will do is lock it into place. Right, so the button board first. Right, so the button board's back in, so we can now then just push it together to make sure it's okay. And it's fine. So what we'll do now is we do need to drill a hole into the back of this as well. Right, so first off, I've drilled a bigger hole in the back of the panel and then a smaller one in the front. What the back one is for is to run the cable through, and then the front one is just simply to secure it. I'll show you guys that in a second. So what we'll do now is we will We're going to grab our cable like so. We're going to run it through the back of this. Right, so I've run the wire through the back like so, and then I'm going to attach the button board back in. Make sure it's the right way up. Careful of the pins, they're very delicate. Like so. That's now in. And all we need to do next is we need to locate this into the little hole there, like so. Grab our little threaded nut, retaining nut, screw it on so it's now stuck in place, and then push this home. Like so. So now we can just clip this back together. Just be careful nothing is out of place. Right, it's all clipped back together again. All the pins are in the right place. Got our traction control working. Our aux cable's in. I've actually made a massive boo-boo. I've cut the hole on the wrong side, but it's fine. I'll just run it across. But yeah, don't make that mistake. You can even use, there is a hole there, but it goes to a post. But yeah, it's just easier to run it through. So all I need to do now is just tuck the rest of this cable behind here, plug this back in again. Right, yep, so all we need to do is just push these cables through the back here, because obviously we've got this excess now. And then what we'll do is we'll then push this back into place, clipped in. Right, so what we do now is just do the next steps. All we need to do is plug everything back in again. So that's been clipped on the front. I've now put the traction control module wiring back in. So what we'll do now is we can sort of coax this towards where it's meant to go, and then we'll grab our little screws, plug all of our modules back in. You can't get this wrong because they're all one size per connector. And then we're just going to clip all this back together again, push it all into place. Like so. Grab our screws again for the air conditioning and drop them as well. Awesome. Pop these screws in, tighten that up. That's done, and then finally we can get our little plug back into place. So what we'll do is we'll bring this down and push the plug through like so, and then we'll plug this back in like that. I think that works, it's fine. Push them home back in, that's fine. And then what we'll do is we have to open the passenger door because you need to clip this in. There's not enough room, as you can see. So we'll do that now. Line it all up. and it's a simple case of just gently pushing it all back together, making sure the little lugs go back in the holes. There's one, and there you go guys. So that was all done. So we've got a little aux input down here. You can then use a little Bluetooth dongle, or you can plug in your jack like so. Right, so all you do is just go to entertainment as normal, go to aux audio, click OK, go onto Spotify or whatever you want to use, press play, and there you go.
Just can't let you go. Then left me with the pieces.
So there you go guys, hope you guys enjoyed that. Hope the installation went smooth for you too. Hope you've now got music going in your 5 Series E61, E60. This works on E90s as well with a mask unit, because obviously it's all all the same stuff. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed. If you like what you see, if you enjoy the videos, give us a like and subscribe down below, and I'll catch you very shortly in the next one. Take it easy.